What's up, everybody? There shouldn't be too much of a delay. I think maybe like 5 to 10 seconds or so. So I'm just checking to make sure everything's working okay before we get started here. Let me go ahead and pull up my chat somewhere. I'm going to shrink myself down once we finish with the unboxing and we get to doing some quizzing. But for now, we'll keep it large so you can see it real good. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me okay? I may have to refresh my chat. All right, there we go. JD's from Missouri, Phil. Yeah, I couldn't quite place it either, and I'm usually pretty good with accents. With all the traveling I do, I'm usually pretty good with accents. But yeah, he's from Missouri. All right. So I kind of took a chance when I scheduled this stream for 6:30 that my play button would arrive in time. UPS typically comes between 3 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, and they were pretty much right on schedule. My play button arrived at about 5 p.m. So, yeah. I'm a week away from vlogging through a major hurricane. Yes, I was. Boy, I got out of Mississippi just in time. Azarth, yes, I did get LASIK almost a week ago. Actually, it was a week ago today, and I feel great. Got to do drops every so often just because I dry out a little bit, but otherwise I can see fantastic. Haven't had any side effects really. One of the things they warn you about is that for a couple of months you might see halos around lights, and I get a little bit of that at night, but honestly I can see way better now than I could with my glasses even, so it's fantastic. Port Gibson, yeah. So I'll talk some about some of those upcoming episodes for the Vicksburg series because it's about to get really good, I think. You'll get to see a lot of battlefield content coming up. Those first couple episodes were kind of introducing everything, so there's not a lot of on-site stuff mixed in. I'm mostly trying to set up the story for what you're about to see, but you're going to see a lot. Port Gibson, probably more than any of the battlefields, with the exception of Vicksburg itself, really surprised me. And I can't wait to share that with you. It'll be not this next episode, but the one after that. All right, silver play button. Daniel, I'll say this about LASIK. So LASIK, the day that I had it done, the procedure itself, painless. A little bit of pressure because they put this thing down that like goes right up against, like, first they give you these drops to numb your eyes, right? And, you know, like, I'm sitting in this room for like 5 minutes after they put the drops in, and then they say, okay, it's time. And I walk in, I lay down, you know, on this table, and it's like, boom, they're all ready to start. And so first thing they do is they tape your eyelashes so the hairs don't get in the way. And then they put this little clamp in that holds your eye open. I didn't feel that at all. And then, like, at one point they were brushing something over top of my eye, and I could see the brush, but I didn't feel it because I was completely numb. So then they put this, like, thing down, and it presses right up against your eye, and so there's pressure. It doesn't hurt, but there's pressure. So once that happened, I'll get to you guys' questions in just a minute. And yeah, all of my streams stay live on the channel, so you'll be able to see it. So the pressure, you know, that it was uncomfortable. But then, like, I actually could see the blade cutting my cornea open while then they peel the flap back, and then there's this laser, and you smell it, and it's like the smell of really bad burnt hair. So it doesn't smell real great, but I didn't feel anything. And the whole procedure, like, takes about 5 minutes for each eye from start to finish. Once the numbness wore off, which was I had an hour drive home from, the procedure was in Canton, is where I had it done, Canton, Ohio. It was about an hour away. Got about halfway home and the numbness wore off. And it felt like the worst, like, case of soap in my eyes that I'd ever had. That's about as painful as it got. And they tell you to go home and just sleep as much as you can the rest of the day. So I did that. I came home. I slept for about 5 hours, and when I woke up, I felt great, and I have felt great ever since. So, yeah. Luke Jones, awesome. What part of Scotland are you in? Yeah, they have to cut open the very, like, top part of your cornea, and they peel it back, and then they use a laser to reshape your eye, and then they put that cornea part back on and kind of glue it back on. Totally worth it though, especially if you're somebody like me. I've been wearing glasses since I was a teenager. Totally worth it. I don't have to worry about glasses or contacts anymore. So yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's open this thing. It just came a couple hours ago. So this is what the box looks like that you get from YouTube. I'm covering up my address there. Not that it's incredibly hard to find, but so let's go ahead and open this bad boy. My wife's texting me that the stream is pixelated, but I think that must be just her because it looks okay on the screen that I'm seeing. All right, so the first thing they give you here, and I've seen all this before because my daughter got... you're in Glasgow, Luke. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but there's a pub on... I forget the name of the road now. Paisley Road in Glasgow that my great-great-great-grandfather owned called the Old Toll, and it's still there. So I've seen all this before because my daughter got a silver play button a long time ago. But... So they give you this letter. It's on cardstock, and I won't read the whole thing, but it just says, "Do you remember your first subscriber, your 100th, or your 1,000th?" And I remember all of it because it wasn't that long ago. We hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel like 8 months ago. So, and it just kind of talks about, congratulations. When you reach your 1,000,000th subscriber, we may just write to you and ask, do you remember your 100,000th? And the 100,000th was a fun night. And I know a lot of you guys were here for that. My wife and I were live streaming when we went over 1,000, so it was a lot of fun. So I am grateful to every single one of you. Motion blur, yeah, because I'm doing the stream with like ultra low latency. I have to lower the resolution a little bit to make it possible to be able to stream in almost real time. You can't do like a high-res stream in real time. So, all right, so here it is. Pretty awesome. We'll have to find a good place to put that. So it says, presented to Vlogging Through History for passing 100,000 subscribers, YouTube. So thank you guys so much. This is really for all of us. This is for our community that we have. This is not possible without all of you. And honestly, it wouldn't be any fun without all of you. Because what makes this enjoyable for me is the community we have. It's the interaction we have. It's the chance that I get to have to talk with people all over the world. Like literally all over the world. To talk about history. And I have learned probably as much, if not more, from all of you than you have learned from me. I've learned a ton in these last eight or 9 months that I've been doing these reaction videos and the on-site videos regularly. This channel was officially created in July of last year, but I didn't start doing daily content until December. So I really kind of considered December to be the birthday of the channel. So I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to all of the content creators out there whose content I have used to help us grow this community. I never set out to do reaction videos, but I've talked many times before about how reaction videos became kind of a necessity when I couldn't travel to do the on-site videos, which is really why I created this channel in the first place. And so they've kind of become a means to an end. They've been a springboard for us to talk about history, but they've also allowed for growth that has allowed me to fill my passion of creating original content too. So, and hopefully, a year or two from now, when we're doing this again with hopefully 1 million subscribers, hopefully the channel will have grown not only in numbers, but also in quality. I'm learning all the time about how to do this better from all of you. And like I said, I've met a lot of great people along the way. Other content creators I've been able to connect with. I talk all the time about JD from History Underground. Getting to talk with Mr. Beat recently. I was kind of hard on him in some ways in my reactions to his stuff, but he was very gracious to me in return. Kings and Generals have been very supportive of what I do. Yarn Hub has reached out to me several times to show their support for what I do. American Battlefield Trust. So a lot of the content creators whose stuff I use on this channel have been incredibly supportive, and all of them make this possible. So thank you for all of that. All right, let me catch up on the chat a little bit here. Mr. Beep, some great sources of history in Ohio. Mr. Beep actually lives over close to Canton. We were just talking about Canton. Oh boy, I'm trying to think of some good sources like online. Mr. Beep, I'll have to catch up with you about that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'll message you on Discord and we can talk about that. Passing PewDiePie next. Game Landmaster, I agree. We all win together. That's why I consider this kind of a joint achievement, really, very much. Chris, thank you for that. Yeah, we're going to be at 200K anytime now. We're at 198K and counting. Daniel, awesome. You found me from Mr. Terry. Mr. Terry's another guy who has a channel very similar to what I do with the reaction stuff, and it's been great getting to interact with him. And one of these days we are going to collaborate somehow, some way. We're going to make that happen. So am I going to do a 200K stream, aka tomorrow? I don't know if it'll be that soon. It'll probably be in the next few days, though. Niek, yeah, I'd say we're probably at the place where between my two channels, my gaming channel and this one, and between the money I do make on ad revenue and also from Patreon, we're at the place where I can pretty much do this full time. Ezekiel, let me get to your seeing how I did a reaction to oversimplified Civil War, what I consider re-reacting to Why Gods and Generals. Yes, I am going to do that. I know a lot of people want me to put that video back up. And I mentioned that I got a lot of hate messages. Atten Shay's fans are very, very passionate about him. And when you disagree with him, they take that very, very personally. I've gotten more dislikes and more hate messages from my reactions to his stuff by far than anything else I've done. So I want to revisit that, but I want to be a little more tempered in my reaction because I was pretty frustrated watching that, and I think I let it get to me a little bit, and I'm not proud of that because I try to be as balanced and even-keeled as I can. So anyway, so yeah, we'll get to that. Jordan, thank you for that, and Ezekiel, thank you as well. Jordan, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm glad. Honestly, that's about the highest compliment I can get, and I get it all the time, which I'm grateful for. People saying, hey, you've helped me fall in love with history, or you've helped me rediscover my love for history. That, to me, is the ultimate compliment, because that means that I'm doing what I want to do, which is share my passion for history with other people who also have that passion. So, yeah, I try. Dan Graycon, everybody's biased. Everybody has strong opinions, and I'm no different. I just try to see things from both sides the best I can. So, yeah, we are going to, if we can find good ideas for collaboration, Mr. Terry and I have both talked about wanting to collaborate together. Mr. Beat and I want to collaborate together. JD from History Underground and we've already worked together once on the Currahee cleanup project. Planning on going with him to Normandy next spring. So he's still working on those details. All right, let me go ahead and adjust things here, and we're going to do some trivia. So give me just a second while I adjust the size of my picture and kind of make everything else reappear here. All right, it's pretty good. There's a little bit of a problem with the green screen just because it's not very bright outside right now. So you're going to see a little bit of like green showing on the bottom, but not a lot I can do about that. I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, if you want to join the quiz, we're going to do one on the 30 Years' War since we just did that series. Braden, thank you. Appreciate that. I have heard of David Kincaid. Yeah, and the Irish Brigade and the Irish folks in the Civil War are some of the most interesting stories because you've got immigrants from one country that come and fight against each other in their new country, which is always kind of a very tragic and also kind of compelling human interest story from the Civil War. Kyle, it is. And you know what? The saddest part about it when we did the cleanup at Currahee was I wasn't one of them because I was exhausted by the end of that day. I was sleeping, but JD and some of the other folks in our group went back up to the top of Currahee that night. It was like 6 hours after we had finished our cleanup. and there was already new graffiti up there. It was so incredibly frustrating and disheartening. Using your mobile data for this, no regrets. Yes, German participation, especially German high command among the Union side, a lot of officers. Kryptonite, it's coming. A lot of you don't know this, because I don't talk about this very often on the channel, but I'm part-time. Among the other things I do, I pastor a church. Mainly just preach on Sunday mornings. I don't do much else, but the church I pastor is in Salineville, Ohio, which is where the final battle of Morgan's raid was fought. He surrendered later that day. So the Battle of Salineville was actually the northernmost battle between regular bodies of Union and Confederate troops in the American Civil War. So I want to do a video about the Battle of Salineville and about Morgan's surrender, which happened just like 35 minutes from my house. My favorite video that I have reacted to. Oh, that's a tough one. I really like the oversimplified stuff. I like how he does things a lot. I'm also a huge fan of extra history and the way they tell a story. Wow. Let me think about that a little bit. I think it has to be the final video of extra. There's two of them. The final video of Extra History's series on the build-up to World War I. The one where they say, and a month later, 1 million people were dead, and then they play in Flanders Fields. That was powerful stuff. I loved that video. I also absolutely loved when I did my reaction video to No Bullets Fly by Sabaton, because I didn't know that story, and to discover right in the middle of making that video that the B-17 involved was in the same bomb group as my wife's grandfather, who is just one of my favorite human beings who has ever lived, was so cool. And so both of those are probably my two most memorable moments I've done in a reaction video. All right, let me get myself logged in here, and we'll start in just a minute. And we'll kind of take this slow, because I'll be kind of reacting to you guys and your. Actually, I think I have the app now. Let me see if I have the app on here. Oh, I do have the app. The neighborhood kids are being loud outside. Mine's probably one of them. All right, there we go. Favorite World War I European general. Oh boy, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to go with Ludendorff. I don't know why. I don't necessarily like him very much as a human being, but I just found I've found his story very interesting. His personal story. I wouldn't say he's my favorite as far as me thinking he's the best. He's just the most interesting to me, I guess. All right, we've got 56 people in so far. We'll give it another minute or two. Yeah, Vexagy, the reason I use this instead of Kahoot, Kahoot has a max of 50 people. There's no limit on this one. Yeah, I'm going to get to some more Sabaton reactions soon. Last Dying Breath will be one of them. Yeah, Mr. Beat was very, very kind in his emails to me. I was actually in Kansas this week, and he wanted to try and connect in person when I was there, but I was only there for less than 24 hours, so I didn't even have time. And I was only an hour and a half away from Abilene, which is where President Eisenhower's birthplace and his burial place are. But or not his birthplace, he was born in Texas, but where he grew up. But it was closed because of COVID, so I couldn't go. Hague's interesting. Foch is interesting. I'm definitely going to do a top 10 and bottom 10 presidents like he did. The code is 181963. You just go to joinmyquiz.com and enter that code. Foch was like a French General Sherman, yeah. Chris, yeah, absolutely. And that's how it should be, right? I mean, we can be incredibly passionate about what we believe in and why. But we can do so in a way that's civil to each other. And I said, even in my reactions to Mr. Beat, even when I disagreed with him, what I really appreciate and respect about him is that, unlike a lot of people on YouTube, he acknowledges his own bias, just as I try to acknowledge mine. I think we're all probably blind to it to a certain degree. We probably all think we're less biased than we really are. But I admire that about him, that he's willing to upfront acknowledge that. Bruh, Block, that's awesome. You've been around since 1000. Yes, I've been to Canada many times. I only live 3 hours from Niagara Falls. Well, maybe 4 hours. I think the spring offensive could have succeeded. Although I don't know if the spring offensive would have happened if the Americans hadn't been coming into the war. I have been to Mexico. Who's the ugliest president? A lot of people say Lincoln. I don't know. The CSS United States in my Southern campaign? Good question, Phil. I don't know. Just what it created for me. Cameron, you go to Glasgow University. Very cool. I cannot wait to get to Glasgow. Oh my gosh, I'm dying to get to the UK. I love sports, Puka. I would love to go to Berlin. My cousin's been to Berlin. Worst American Civil War general on the Union side. For me, it's McClellan. Yeah, McClellan. Golfman, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I can't take credit for the logo. We had people who designed that stuff. I do like Eisenhower. He's one of my 5 favorite presidents, I would say. Yeah, Banks was not great either. All right, let's go ahead and start this. We'll kind of take our time with it. I don't believe there's a bonus for answering quickly. Let me show the full question view so you guys can see the choices. Have I ever found old Civil War items when seeing Civil War locations? I have not, but most of those places have been long since picked over of that stuff. Yes, I have been to Canada. Yeah, we did a series on the 30 Years of War. That's why I thought it was fun to do a quiz on. It's only 10 questions. Pope was pretty bad too, yeah. All right, we're going to wrap this question up. Tim, that is awesome. I'm hoping to see him here in a couple weeks here in Youngstown. Do I think the D-Day landings would have been better if they delayed? No, I don't. I think Eisenhower made the right call. All right, so a bunch of us are tied with 600 points. I'm guessing some of us are going to get all 10 of these. I may not be one of them. Ferdinand II became King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor. He ordered that Bohemia convert to... I think I got this right. I might have gotten this backwards. I'm going to be really embarrassed if I get this one wrong. Dan, that's cool. I did not know that. I have not seen. Did Sam O'Nella do a face reveal? Probably not Buddhism. Yeah. KC, you join... You go to joinmyquiz.com and enter 181963. All right, how are we doing? All right, so I did get that one right. It was Catholicism. So we're averaging right around 50 people getting each one of them right. If it's the same 50 or not, I don't know. Sweden's King Gustavus Adolphus revolutionized warfare by introducing what? I actually don't know this one off the top of my head. The Egyptian Coptic Bibles. No, I haven't seen those. Audrey Hepburn was not only a great actress, she's a very attractive woman. She's one of my celebrity crushes. Audrey Hepburn was a very, very beautiful lady. She was. All for Me I did, but I don't talk about modern politics. I have not been to Tulum or Chichen Itza. Would very much like to at some point. Shieldtron sounds like a video game. Mr. Beat, my wife doesn't mind. My wife has a crush on her professor right now, so at least my crush is on somebody who's no longer living. All right. Hey, I got it right. It was mobile artillery and infantry. Wonder how many people have gotten all three. Let's see how many have all of them. Participants. Wait. I guess I can't look at it. I thought we could look at the results, but I guess we cannot at the moment. Oh, here's the leaderboard. Here we go. How many have all three of them right? It looks like there are 24 of us that got the first three right. Do I think the Roman Legion was the best system? It seemed to work for them. France entered the war because they were devout Protestants. No. Yeah. Pizza or hamburger? Pizza. But I like a good hamburger too. Ivo HD, I don't know. That might be interesting. King's Grave, thank you. I have not been to Croatia. I haven't been to Europe. The only thing that's holding me from being there now is COVID. See, yeah, Monty, that's right. You should have paid better attention to the videos. Yeah, Braden, and Grant had a really bad... He got migraines a lot, and he had a really bad migraine. And he was laying down when he got the message about Lee. And he said instantly his migraine went away. Puka, I do like baseball. And yes, they wanted to stop the Habsburgs, is the answer here. Because they were Catholic, and they jumped in on the side of the Protestants. All right, nicely done, everyone. Where's that put us on the leaderboard? Now we're down to 22 that have gotten them all right. I think the only way the Confederates could have won the war is if they got European help. The Imperial general who led Ferdinand's forces against Denmark and Sweden was... Drew, thank you. Appreciate that. What part of Arkansas are you in? Mate, don't go. Oh, but you can watch it later if you have to. France in the 17th century. We hate Protestants, but God, we hate Habsburgs even more. Where would I like to visit most in Europe? The UK, London specifically. Jacksonville, Sherwood area. Very cool. I've been to Arkansas a few times. Favorite empire in history? The British. Random British guy. What's going on, man? How you doing? All right. Hey, I'm doing pretty good, which is good because I just did a reaction series on the 30 Years' War, so I better be getting these right. Ross, I mostly just want to see things like... I want to go to, Westminster Abbey. I want to see the Tower of London. I want to do the Jack the Ripper tour at night. I don't really plan on spending a lot of time in London. The British Museum, I'll see that too. I want to go to Windsor Castle, which I know is outside of London. Then I want to go to Birmingham. I want to go to Glasgow. Definitely planning on spending the majority of my time in the UK outside of London. Jordan, I'm not a huge Beatles fan. So yeah, Abbey Road's not a big deal to me, I guess. I do know some about the Crusades, Guns and Glory. Only 35 people got that one right. That's going to bring down our leaderboard. We'll do one more and then we'll take a look at the leaderboard again. Another major factor leading to mass casualties in Europe was during this period. Ooh, coronavirus. Yeah, that's what it was. This is I'm going to miss this, and I'm going to be really upset when I miss it. Because I feel like there's two answers, and neither one of them is exactly true, but neither one's exactly false either. Ugh. Because there was plague going on, but I think most of the time when people talk about the Black Death, they're talking about what happened in the 1300s. And the Little Ice Age did have an impact on the events of the 30 Years' War, but again, I don't know if that was a major factor. So I'm gonna feel bad for anybody who misses this one, myself included. I'm gonna see what it does. Oh yeah, see, I said the Black Death, and it was the Little Ice Age. Or no, I said the Little Ice Age, and it was the Black Death. That's frustrating, because that one was, yeah. I don't know. Only 20 people got that one. So how many are we down to now? See, we're down to just 6 that have gotten them all right now. And how many have gotten all but one right? 21. The treaty did it. Oh, this one, everybody should get this one. If you watch my videos, that is. What do I think of the wars caused by religion? I think it makes sense. People fight over all kinds of things, and religion's something that people are very passionate about. So it makes sense that wars would have been fought by them. It's definitely Versailles, Ross says. Were there many Norwegian Americans in the Civil War? There were some. My knowledge of South American generals begins and ends with Simon Bolivar. There was the Peace of Westphalia. All right, we're down to 5 now. How many questions do we have left? 3 questions to go. When the teacher gives a surprise test hours after class. Accurate. The end of the war saw the rise of which new nation? Ooh. I know this was in the videos. I have not heard of the Battle of Hemmingstead. Morgan, that's very cool. If the American Civil War ended in a stalemate, do I think that World War I would be different? I don't know if the Confederates would have sided with the Allies and the Union with the Central Powers. It's hard to say. I mean, I know a lot of the alternate history scenarios go that way just because it's interesting. Peyton, you ought to be able to go in and change, like just go down to the little gear thing and change the resolution. Because you ought to be able to get this in 1080, I would think. Plus, if you're using a device like your phone, you don't need to see the questions on the screen anyway. You just, like, I get the question on my phone. Man, it's that one stupid question about the Black Death versus the Little Ice Age that has kept me from a perfect score right now. But we've still got 4. Good job, everybody, on getting that one right. After the defeat during the 30 Years' War, the Habsburg family concentrated on building their power base in which of their nations? Ooh. The War of the Bucket's kind of an awesome war. Guns and Glory, no, but that one gets recommended to me a lot, so I'll probably get there. Luke Jones, awesome. Ryan, I'm glad to hear that. My favorite history, what if? What if Lincoln had lived at the end of the American Civil War? Job, I'll get there at some point. A lot of other things I want to do first. We'll get to the Emu War at some point when I do that video. Yeah, Austria is the answer to that one. All right, with one question remaining, we have 3 people that have gotten all the questions right. And then there's another 11 of us that have gotten all but one. I like that somebody's name is extra simplified. Hey, take care, Moments in Trading. If only we didn't tax you for tea, someone said. What if Garfield... Oh, Billy, that's an excellent one. That might even be more interesting than the Lincoln one. What were the 4 phases of the war? Ooh. Ooh. Think I got this one right? What if the English Channel didn't exist? Do I think the Holy Roman Empire was a failure from the start? No, I don't think necessarily. What if the Confederacy won? Ooh, I'd rather not think about that one, but that's interesting. I haven't even checked to see how many people we have in the stream right now. 250, that's pretty good. Usually the crazy high numbers we get in streams is when I do tier lists, like tier maker lists, which I'll have to do another one maybe tomorrow. Okay. And the winners are... Oh, I got that one right. Yay, me. It was Bohemian, Danish, Swedish, and then French. How many got them all? 3 people got all of them. Nicely done. Nicely done. Actually, I'm impressed how many people got that one right. What if King George III had accepted the colony's demands? Interesting. All right, I think that was the end of that. 69th place. Nice job, Orlando. React to my oldest video. What is my oldest video? I think it's probably... I mean, some of my oldest videos have been taken down. Yeah, look at that. All the people who missed one question... with a couple of exceptions, missed that same number 6, which is the one that I missed. All right, let's take a look for a second. I think I know what my oldest video is. It's not a reaction video at all. Give me a second and I'll pull it up here. All right, so let's take a look here at the stats. Yeah, it's the Alamo. That's kind of what I figured. That was my last trip before COVID, was the Alamo. So that's the oldest video that's still live on the channel. Oh, these are all the lives. Hold on. Let's go back to uploads. Yep, it's the Alamo right there. That's from July 6th. Which was actually recorded. I made that video in late February of 2020 because I was in San Antonio on the anniversary. All right, I think we're good. It'd be fun to watch me play Among Us. Yeah, I think we're okay now. Yeah, my daughter's streaming at the same time as me, which was not intended. What if William Pitt the Elder didn't suffer from gout? His son died young, too. Both of them, kind of a tragic story. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at a little bit of this video. I don't know how I have the sound settings, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this or not. We'll watch a little bit of it. Well, hello everybody. It is February 23rd, 2020, and I find myself today in San Antonio, Texas. And behind me you can see one of the most recognizable, iconic historical... So, I'm going to... Oh, we lagging again. Darn it. I'm going to adjust my settings a little bit here. Okay, we should be good now. I adjusted a few things. So there's my old intro. That's from Gettysburg right there. And that's my old kind of generic logo that I made before we had our cool new stuff. Use the Amish police jammer. So, this is the iconic part that everybody sees of the Alamo and thinks Alamo right away, but that's actually a very small part of it. The Alamo is one of those things that looks really cool on video, but when you go there in reality, there's just not much to it. Do I think I'll play Anno 1800? I think I've played that some. What's my favorite history movie? My favorite history movie is actually a TV series, which would be Band of Brothers. But movie-wise, I don't know, maybe Glory. I will say that with what they have to work with, they've done a lot. But the Alamo is right in downtown San Antonio, and so it's like the city's built around it. Yeah, my hair was a little longer there, and it was also a lot less gray than it is now. And this was only 18 months ago. That's what COVID did to me. It turned me significantly more gray. Free State of Jones is a fantastic movie. So is Lincoln. Swinky, you visited Hollywood Cemetery. Very cool. My friend JD from History Underground just did a couple of videos from there, too. Dale Trotter, thank you for subscribing. I have heard of the Mormon Battalion. I have a little bit of Norwegian ancestry. And unfortunately, I couldn't show much of the Alamo because, the main thing to be seen there is to go inside the chapel, and you're not allowed to film inside the chapel. But this is what it looked like in 1836 during the battle. So right there's the chapel part that everybody knows about, but that's actually really kind of on the edge of the fortress. This is all kind of the fortress, and now there's a street that runs here. There's a bunch of like stores on this side. None of this is there anymore. The only part that's left of the Alamo to be seen is just this little piece right here. Waterloo from 1970 is fantastic for just the reason you said, Pascal. I would love to visit Australia. I've got a friend who lives on the Gold Coast. Brian, take care, man. Now, being less gray was because I was 2 years younger than I am now. What is Gettysburg like these days? Oh, Gettysburg's great. It's one of my favorite historical sites to visit. I will say there were a couple of cool things about visiting the Alamo. One is that because I was there on the anniversary, they had all these living history folks there that were dressed up, which was really neat. This guy was playing Santa Anna right here. Tim, I don't know. We might have time for another quiz. I'm just looking at the time. It's only 7:15 here. But you can see how the whole city's kind of built up around. And so this was kind of cool getting to see all the living history folks that were there doing stuff. Alex, we are actually watching my oldest video on the channel. They wanted to see it. So I'm not real good with South American history, but it is interesting to me. Kyle, I have, and I'm planning on getting back to DC soon because I want to do a whole series of videos at Arlington National Cemetery. Daniel, I did unbox the silver play button, but I'll show it to you again. For those who are just joining us, there you go. There it is. But if you watch the video later, you'll be able to see it nice and big because I had it full screen at the time. So. The greatest unsolved mystery in history. Wow, I'd have to think about that. There are some really interesting ones out there. What happened? Here's mine. What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? And I have my theories about that, but that would probably be mine. Yeah, so the statues were pretty cool. But yeah, again, there's just not much to be seen at the Alamo. And you can see this was such an early video, my oldest video. It's only got 1,500 views. I could probably just re-upload this video right now and get 10,000 views in the first day. Oh, are we buffering again? Come on. This is what I get for putting the latency on super low. You get more buffering that way. Have you ever seen ghosts at these locations? No, but I have definitely felt some interesting things in places like Cold Harbor. But a lot of these places, no, I really, it's tough in some of these places to get a sense. Like here, a big part of the battlefield is a parking lot. Going to Marie's Heights at Fredericksburg, you can't get any sense of what happened there because it's a bunch of houses now. Unfortunately, so many of these historical sites, it's just hard to get a feel for what they were like because they're so different now. Ooh, Kyle, the Princess in the Tower is a really good one too. I have my own theories about that one too. Cincy is in Kentucky. Yeah, we call it Cincinnati. The airport, Cincinnati Airport, is actually in Kentucky. Scariest battlefield of the Civil War because of the eeriness, for me, it would have to be Cold Harbor, even though there's only a tiny bit of it. That's the one where I felt the most kind of just like, wow, even though it's very, very small. Yeah, so like right here is where I'm standing in the parking lot, right there. The city we took from Michigan, Mr. Beep says. He's talking about Toledo. Hey, Audrey, we get it. You want us to think you're the real Audrey Hepburn, even though she's dead. Oh, that one guy. I'll throw out my Princess in the Tower theory for you, and we'll see what you think. I think Buckingham did it at the behest of Henry Tudor's mother, Margaret Beaufort. That's my theory. This was my old phone, too. It didn't record nearly as good as the new one does. I have an iPhone now. That was my old Galaxy S8. These are the names of all the Alamo defenders who died. Aiden, normally I would be at soccer practice tonight, but my son's soccer practice was canceled. Erlinda, I don't know if David Crockett, a colonel would have made him the highest ranking person at the Alamo, because the highest rank that anybody had at the Alamo was lieutenant colonel. That was William Barrett Travis, and I think also Jim Bowie was a lieutenant colonel. Who was the real man in the Iron Mask? I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't think it was probably anybody very historical. I know a lot of people like to say it was like maybe a twin brother of Louis XIV or something. Ooh, I can't believe that Sabaton didn't make a song about the Alamo for their Last Stand album. I don't know why we pronounce Colonel as Colonel. That's a good question. Rip Jeb Stewart, the man just couldn't follow an order. Charlie's talking about on my gaming channel, my Civil War battle video that went live today. Jeb Stewart was disobeying my orders and then he got killed. Who was Jack the Ripper? Ooh, that's a good one. I have two theories on that one, but I think especially with the modern evidence. By the way, the Riverwalk in San Antonio is a really cool area if you ever go there. I think it's probably Kosminski, but I still kind of hold out a little bit of a theory that it was James Maybrick. Ebba, thank you so much. Appreciate that. You and your friends had a discussion about the Soviet Union, and we couldn't agree on whether it was real communism. Good question. I mean, if you go strictly on what Karl Marx said about communism, then I guess you'd have to say no. But I can't pretend to be an expert on that subject. But I think you could probably make an argument that it was not, because real pure communism is a stateless society. But I think that that was what they were working toward. So I don't know. Yeah, the royalty conspiracy on Jack the Ripper is BS. It was definitely not Prince Albert Victor. He's got a solid alibi for that. Guns and Glory, I was actually just in Massachusetts. Honestly, there's not much to see in Salem. I was there a couple of years ago. It's rather disappointing. Robert, how's it going in Morehead City? Do I think Alexander Hamilton would have made a good president? Ooh, I'm a big fan of Alexander Hamilton. I think he's one of the most brilliant people that we've ever had. Let's get this big giant picture of my face off the screen. I think he's one of the most brilliant people we've ever had in politics and leadership in the U.S., but I don't know that his temperament would have made for a good president. Real communism plus human nature equals the Soviet Union. Alex, that's probably a good way to put it. What's the most boring state? Ooh, North Dakota. Guns and Glory, I think the Witchfinder General is hilarious. I honestly prefer that from Atten Shea to some of his Civil War stuff. Trey Henry, welcome. Glad you're here. What if the United States joined the Axis? I'll have to check that out. If I were to make one change to the Treaty of Versailles, what would it be? I would have made... It never could have happened, but I would have made the Treaty of Versailles much more like what we did post-World War II, which was much more about helping rebuild Germany and Japan and reshape them rather than punitively punish them, which is what directly led to World War II. It never could have happened that way with the nature of how things were, but I wish that would have been the case. Hello from Belfast. Very cool. Did Arizona have any parts in the Civil War? There was a little bit of fighting that took place in the Southwest, but between very small numbers of troops. What would I like to visit most in Europe? The UK, followed by the World War I and World War II battlefields, the World War I and World War II battlefields, COVID willing, is going to happen next spring. Nebraska is a gigantic cornfield. I've only been to the Omaha part of Nebraska. Yeah, a lot of European people are sleeping right now. I would like to dive into some Viking history, yes. Lavery, I've done 10 or 12 epic rap battle reactions already. Oh, I'd love to visit Denmark someday. There's a lot of places I'd like to go. Dustin, that's cool. My mom lives in Tucson. Oversimplified, there's more... No, the Football War is not the only one I haven't watched. I haven't done the Emu War. I haven't done Three Kingdoms yet. KC, I have been to 48 states. I just got to Louisiana a couple weeks ago, which leaves Rhode Island and Utah as the only two I haven't been to. Have not read E.P. Alexander's memoirs. I would like to check it out. The SS Edmund Fitzgerald. Interesting. Yeah, that's a Great Lakes thing. That's not far from me. Sus Activities. That is very cool. I'd love to meet him. William Jennings Bryan. That's interesting. Dude was persistent. I'll give him that. What was he? The Democratic nominee 3 times and lost 3 times. Charlie Mills. Yeah, I don't get into anything modern like that. Sorry. Omar, take care. That's got to be late in Pakistan. Is Rhode Island a state or an island? Yes. Yeah, we'll do some more salmonella at some point. Appreciate that, Daniel. Bradford. What's in Bradford that I should see? Were there any Illinois battles? Not really. The most significant area of Illinois was Cairo, because Cairo became kind of a base of operations for Grant in the beginning of the war, kind of going out. A history meetup in Cleveland. Well, here's a funny thing about that. I'm doing an event. Rachel's Challenge. I'm a speaker for Rachel's Challenge. I'm going to be at a school in Avon next week, and I have like from 12:30 to 6:30 with nothing. I have an evening event, and so I'm going to probably shoot some video in the West Cleveland area next week, but I got to try and figure out what I want to do. So, Ruben, welcome and thank you for becoming a member as a student. Yes, Mormons do live in Utah. Bleeding Kansas, Braden, is one of many things that you could say are one of the precipitating events to the Civil War. That's certainly one of them. Best state for producing the best presidents? Ooh, wow. New York? New York had a few good ones. Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt are from New York. Grover Cleveland I'm not real high on, but he's from New York. It's tough because a lot of presidents can be claimed by more than one state. I am excited for Buckeyes football. Harrison, agree 100%. He's talented but super raw, but you can see his confidence coming back in the second half. That was an ugly game for a while. Illinois, what do you got? Lincoln? Obama? And Lincoln's really from Kentucky. He just kind of lived in Illinois as an adult. Thoughts on the History Channel? When they do actual historical content, it's usually pretty high quality. I get a little frustrated with some things that I think are glaring inaccuracies that they should know better about. But definitely not P.A. Buchanan sucked, Timothy says. My favorite chapter of Grant's memoirs. Oh, it's been a while since I did his memoirs, but I would have to say hearing his thoughts on Confederate generals was interesting perspective. So the parts where he talked about the opposing generals that he faced was very interesting. Nate Carlo, it is going to be a really good game, I think. I think the AFC Championship game is going to be the Browns and the Chiefs this year. Oh, the Browns are going to win the AFC North. Browns are going to win at least 12 games this year. They've got their whole offense back from last year with another year of experience. They won 11 games. They went 11-5 last year. Their defense is way better than it was. And they have a really easy schedule. They're going to win at least 12 games. Ravens are not better, Torsk. Not a chance. Not a chance. They won one more game than the Browns last year. Everybody's figured out how to defend against their quarterback now, and the Browns upgraded every weakness on their team. I do not think the Bengals have a shot at the division because I don't think they can keep him upright. Penguins or Blue Jackets? Penguins, just because I was a Penguins fan before the Blue Jackets existed. I would recommend Grand Tactician. What war am I the most interested about? American Civil War. Baker or Josh Allen? Baker. I'm a Browns fan, I have to say it. West Brom's doing great in the championship. They're a little thin, so if they get any more injuries, it's going to be bad. But otherwise, I think they'll get promoted. Sus activities, it is not. I think on paper, the Browns do have the best roster in the NFL. If they can stay healthy. Ronaldo versus Messi? Messi. Every day of the week. Messi. Chase Young or Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack. Favorite NBA teams, the Cavaliers. Which World War II movie shows do I think are the most realistic? For me, definitely Band of Brothers. I cannot wait to see Masters of the Air, which I believe they are now filming, which is the one, it's produced by the same folks, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg. They are now filming in the UK, I believe. I'm a LeBron fan. Torsk. And yet we are the better team. So the Ravens are going to go 11-6 this year at best. And they're going to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs again. Baker has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson does. Favorite MLB team is the Indians. Oh, did you guys... Did Baltimore win? Oh, yeah, Baltimore did win one last year. Then weather killed you? Hey, both teams had to play in the same weather. The Cowboys are overrated most years. Now we're stuck with the Guardians. You're right. Christopher, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Nate, and we got screwed in that... the Browns got screwed in that game against the Chiefs. I'm not a big fan of the Guardians' name. Coke or Pepsi? Definitely Pepsi, but I don't drink pop anymore. Joe. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Zach Steffen. I hated to see him leave Columbus, but I understood. And I think everybody in Columbus is very happy for Zach Steffen being able to go to Man City. I would rather the Indians be called the Cleveland baseball team than be called the Guardians, really. Fury, I thought the movie itself as entertainment was very good, but I hear a lot of people complain about the accuracy of some things. Some more singing for the 200K stream? Maybe. You know, if we can get enough subs, maybe we'll do a 200K stream tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, Arsenal are in shambles. You're right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. We're going to do another stream tomorrow, and I'm going to schedule that here. I'll create the event here fairly soon. I'll probably do something on Tier Maker tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow will be the day that we do Civil War Corps commanders as a Tier Maker list. That might be fun. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow.